point. Are you ready? Trust. How's that for a focal point in life for this year? Well, maybe it should be our focus every year. It was certainly the focus of one of the most successful people of all time, David, king of Israel. He wrote this in Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to His name. Now you might think, sure, trust is not a difficult thing for David, but unlike me, he was born with privilege. Well, that's a thought we might entertain, but let's think about it a little more deeply. David was born the youngest of 8 sons to a family in Bethlehem, a small and seemingly insignificant town in southern Israel. He was assigned the task of caring for the family livestock, and he was seemingly viewed by his brothers as a arrogant, meddlesome, irritating little twit. Yet, he was a boy who, we would say on the baseball field, could really chuck the rock. And a man who trusted the Lord in some ways that few of us will ever understand. Now, he had an intimate relationship with the Lord that he viewed in a way that was very familiar to him. He viewed him as a shepherd. And as his shepherd, he, David, lacked no good thing in his life, and he enjoyed contentment and security, much like those sheep he described lying in the richest of green pastures. Question is, do you know the Lord in this manner? In our last talk, I shared with you how I've come to think the Lord is my coach. You know, my favorite coach, Jerry Droscher, was a disciplinarian unlike any other I have known in my life, but a man who was committed to equipping his teams and his players to accomplish the highest goal in life on the baseball field, that is, championships. He loved his players and expected the best from them. He trained them hard with an expertise I had never before experienced. He had authority as a former player in the game at the highest levels we knew. And yet, he could be demanding and difficult, yet welcoming and genuinely caring at the same time. Listening to him talk of championships and tell stories of the great things he anticipated sharing with us while we were on one knee under the warm spring sun, surrounded by the intoxicating aroma of fresh-cut grass and recently oiled leather gloves. Well, now in my life, that was a little bit of heaven. Under his instruction, I genuinely believed I could do anything on that baseball field. However, that instruction sometimes included sharp criticism for poor execution of the fundamentals of the game, harsh and even public reprimands for mistakes, and sometimes an embarrassing walk off the field after being replaced by another player. However, my coach was always the first to slide into the seat next to me after a difficult time and explain to me my failures, forgive my mistakes. He was the one who literally renewed my strength as I came to repent of my carelessness and failure to follow my training. Now you might be able to see why I personally love to think of the Lord as my coach. The Lord as my coach takes the experience of life with Jesus to the depths in my soul that quite honestly, I could never describe and explain to another. But the question here is this: who is the Lord to you? When you think of someone you have trusted, really trusted with your life, with your future, with your heart, who is that? What does David's quote-unquote shepherd translate into your life? The answer to that question is almost always going to reveal the most fundamental issue in our life for all of us. Who do you trust? Do you trust? Can you trust Jesus? You know, it's a question well worth pondering this year, my friends. Let's give it some thought this week. See you again soon. Love you all.